ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknex.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
All right, yeah. Ooh, I got my PDF. See if I can get it to open. That's not what I meant. Let me do something real quick. Bam. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Recession mindset. All right. Uday, what up? Uday been here since the beginning. It was, okay, who was it? Do you remember that original group? Do you remember the original group? There was only a few of us. It was me, you, Nara, Jerry, Lance. Remember Lance from Houston, he was like a nurse, and he got all angry. He got mad because we I don't know what it was. I think it had to do with XRP or something. When we finally turned on XRP, he was like, no. Yeah, and then he booked it. Sarah, were you were you one of the originals? It was like a group of like just a few of us, right? Like 12 or 15 of us. And in the beginning, we were doing sometimes Jerry would and I would do like a morning show and an afternoon show. You remember that? Yeesh. We've been doing some stuff. Good morning. Oh, tail end of crypto and coffee. Nice. Chris, so you've been here for a minute. Okay, so Chris has been here. AICI, how far? Well, that was mini. So we started, gosh, it was, well, crap, when was it? I'm trying to think. It was when the bear market set in. So I want to say 2018. It was well before COVID. Because during COVID, we were doing options classes. We actually had options. We were doing live ones where everybody would be on screen at the same time. We were doing live options trading in Bitcoin. That was pretty cool, actually. That was pretty fun. Those were the days. AICI was 2022, maybe. I don't know, because I was with. let's see. I was with Raging Bull, and then Money Morning Live. And then in the Money Morning Live years, which is like a couple of years, that was like passing through COVID and then on the other side of it. Yeah. That's crazy. We made some money. Oh my God. My Jesus, we made some money. Old Jerry. Yeah, Jerry's good. Jerry's still doing stuff, but he's not, I don't think he's doing broadcasts, but he's doing stuff that's more hypercycle specific. He's doing hypercycle specific stuff. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Good for Jerry. Jerry in the house. But yeah, he's like, I got him on board with hypercycle a while back. Maybe a year, probably longer, a year and a half ago, maybe. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we used to do what was it? We did crypto and coffee, and then we also would do like a crypto and cardio. Remember? We would just talk about crypto when I was doing random cardio, and then we even did some while I was walking from my little condo place to the gym. I would walk there. I even got like a motion thing, but it looked too weird, so I felt embarrassed using it, so I just used my phone. Yeah, man, we talked some crypto stuff. Let's see. Yes, hello. Yeah, that was back in the day. Somebody else like copied that, and they were like, but they were cool about it. They were like, hey, we use the name Crypto and Coffee too. I'm like, I don't care, man. Crypto is not unique and coffee is not unique, and I can't imagine the crypto and coffee together is all that like of a revelation. Money Morning Live days, yeah. Let's see, I saw you do an interview with Scaramucci. Oh, okay, yeah. Anthony, he and I still chat. I was on his show, on one of his shows one time, one of his podcasts, and then we still chat about once a month. We reach out to each other and say hi and stuff, and then when he's in LA, we try to get together and have lunch and stuff like that. He's a good dude. His team over there, I'm not big fans of, because I think they made a lot of really big mistakes that they were warned about. Like all this stuff with FTX, what they were warned about and all that. But he's a good dude. He's a great salesman. Is he a great investor? He's a great salesman. But he's a generally nice person. To the second tier. Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's still back a minute. That's 5 years ago. Think about that. Let's see. Oh, digital heavyweight, AICI before that. Wasted thousands with Tika. Oh God, Tika. Oh, Tika. Freaking Tika. I had a chance to work with that guy, and I declined it because I always thought he was a creep. I remember on one video I watched him, and he said something to the tune of 100 million Bitcoin. And when I heard the words come out of his mouth, I was like, this guy's a damn fool. He's like all these guys that they come out whenever there's a new fad and suddenly they have a way to sell it to you. Like, I mean, Anthony Robbins and these guys were like, oh, let's talk about crypto. Motherfucker, you don't know anything about crypto. Shut the fuck up. I like his messages. I like what he does for people. I think he generally does get people motivated and excited. He is a terrible businessman. Awful. I mean, awful. But he makes $2-3 million every time he gives one of these seminars because people pay just a mint. So good on him. He's rich for telling people how to be better than them. That's good. That's a good message. Ain't nothing wrong with that message. But don't listen to his business advice because it's bad. And so there's these guys that just jump on any trend and all of a sudden they're subject matter experts. Tai Lopez is another one of these. Tai Lopez is a fucking douchebag. He's here in LA. I've steered clear of that piece of shit for many reasons. I know a lot of people that are peripherally know him, and he's always having these events. He's a scumbag, and I stay away from that fucking dude. But there's a lot of these dudes that will just show up whenever they think something's trendy or fatty, and they'll say really stupid stuff, and they'll sell you some program and all this. I'm like, yeah, that was the treadmill was cardio and crypto and cardio. Yeah, so we used to just talk crypto all the time. BTC options trading was a blast. We crushed that, dude. Crushed that. Craig, what up? When you joined MML, but yeah, it wasn't going to be too long. Because we caught them. We caught them stealing, didn't we? We caught them stealing, and it was like a mistake. It was one of the accountants, when we were having a meeting, they were like, "Oh yeah, on the 25% retention thing." I was like, "Wait, or not retention? What are they? The 25% that we held back for expenses." I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, and then everybody got quiet, and I guess they were probably not happy with that accountant who said that. I said, "You want to explain that to me?" "Oh, we've been withholding 25% of your royalties." I said, "Why?" "Oh, well, and part of this provision, all that." And they were basically, so for the production of those programs, they were charging me indirectly. They were basically covering it up, and they stole all the money. Listen, when they produced a show that I was a part of, they made me pay for it out of my royalties. Ain't that some shit? Not only that, they made me pay for their email lists. They made me pay for email and mailing campaigns for marketing. I was paying for that, not them. They just took it out of my budget. They just took it out of my money and didn't tell me. And then I found out, and I was like, why don't you give me the breakdown of everything? And that was the beginning of the end. 1 month later, we booked it. We left. See you later, bye. And I'm sure they were doing the same to everybody else. Yeah, the only decent dude there was Brett. Everybody else was nice, but they were crooked. They were all crooked, except Brett. Brett was like straight up. He was a straight shooter. I like Brett. Anyway, yeah. So there we go. So we booked it. Let's see, still have the old tokens we were following back. Yeah, I know, man. God. The good old days. Isn't it weird to talk about the good old days in an investment market that's only been around since 2009? Oh, yeah, the rap. Shit, I got to get that. That was Jeff. What's that guy's name? And then that other and then the creepy guy. They were big XRP guys too. Big, like 100% XRP. I won't own anything else. And I was like, you guys don't need to do that. Like, you guys can have choices. You have choices. You guys can choose other investments. So I guess they're all just sitting here waiting for the run. Oh my God, Hex, that guy? Oh, that guy's a scumbag. And he's like in various degrees of like jail and prison and stuff. He's still wanted for like beating up some 16-year-old girl in an elevator or something creepy. Richard Hart? That's not his real name. Richard Hart is the name he goes by. Or Hart? Richard Hart? Yeah, that guy's a creep. And he's like hiding outside the United States. I think he has like underage kid stuff floating around him. Like, that guy's bad news. I would stay away from any of that crap. But again, he found a bunch of idiots, people that bought Hex. He found a bunch of dummies to finance his lifestyle. And I mean, I can't tell anybody what to do with their money. If people want to give these gurus their money, and then good, I guess. Good. Maybe people need that. Maybe by the way, nothing. Absolutely nothing. What? Look. See how I don't look any different? That's because these glasses don't do anything, but they make me look cool. I look astute. Yeah. Yeah, the rap was cool. That was good times. Let's see. For Dumb Zone. Yeah. Matter of fact, They just hit me up last week, right after. Oh yeah. They hit me up last Sunday. I have to go look and see. I got a text. Let me look. I think he hit me up. He said they want to do another show and talk about. Oh, yeah, Dan hit me up. Yeah, whenever you guys want to do it. Yeah. He hit me up. When was that? Oh, Saturday. He hit me up Saturday. So I guess, yeah, we'll do something like that. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Yeah, Sunday cardio. Man, I don't know. We could start doing stuff like that again. Now that, StreamYard, the system that we use, it now broadcasts. The mobile phone experience is way better now. It used to be so clunky you couldn't do it. Now you kind of can do it. We do these Sunday brunches, me and my buddy. Well, around 10 a.m. is brunch. Is that brunch? Breakfast and lunch, brunch, right in the middle? Yeah. Where we talk about crypto and accounting and all that kind of stuff. Although I don't feel like you guys probably want to see us eat. Otherwise, we could do like a Sunday show, but I don't think anybody here wants to see us eat delicious French food. So, yeah. Until that becomes the thing, we probably won't do the Sunday shows. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad they gave people refunds, which was cool. Let's see. Oh, started with Tom. Yeah, good old Tom. Bought Bitcoin, Link, and Ethereum. Yeah. No, I mean, you probably still did good on all those just because of when it, well, depends on when it was. Depends. You did good on Bitcoin. You know what? Yeah, it completely fell apart. It disintegrated. It went. See you later. Bye. All right. So we're going to talk about today is I'm seeing a lot of behavior in the markets, a lot of recession mindset behavior, panicky, sell every top. A lot of it is that this current market we're in is two things. One, it's very limited retail investor involvement. It's mostly, this is a market that's being drugged by ETF activity and Bitcoin, mostly Bitcoin and Ethereum. You're seeing every now and then a flash in the pan for the scummier assets, XRP on down. And that's like that you could think of that as a risk curve, right? Like if you took all the tokens and flipped them sideways, Bitcoin here and everything else here, then you get a yield curve, a yield curve of risk. And it doesn't go, it's not time, instead of time duration, it's just absolute psychotic risk. So yeah, but anyway, so I think because we have had pretty violent market swings, now people are selling, the few amount of retail investors that there are selling every single top as quick as possible. I mean, all the time. Like if we just look at prices before we get to our recession discussion, every time these things go up, they get booted. I mean, look at the last, that's a 30-day. Let's look at the 7-day. Look at these cracks. It got to 39. That was just, let's see. That was the 27th and the 28th, which was yesterday. Okay. Then bang, all the way down to 37.50. Then up to almost 3,900 again. Then bam, we're down to 37.70. Like, I think retail, I think Joe Sixpack is panicked. And this is not just here. This is throughout kind of all investment markets. People are selling every top. They're taking, if they can get an extra $3, they're taking it. And that is an investment philosophy of very short-term, very small-minded thinkers. Those people usually never escape. They never hit escape velocity. They're gonna fight over $6 and they're gonna miss $6,000. So the way I look at it is, you can invest against those people. Those unfortunately are the fools whose money you're taking. When you win, it's because they're losing. It kind of just is that way. So I don't mind this behavior. I like the volatility because, again, I'm all about the premiums, right? More volatility means more premiums, means from day to day, every day of a premium that we're selling, like on the option side, it's just a higher volatility caked into those premiums. That means the daily, the theta, the time decay is even juicier when you kind of, lump it all together. So I'm a big fan of it. A good example of this kind of recession mentality is this move, when we get the spinning pinwheels up, that occurred in SUI, where 2 days ago we were at, and this is on Sunday, of course, we were at 440? 440. Okay. So last week we were in the 360s, even as low as the 350s, 350, 360, 440 Sunday. Where are we now? 380. A 60-cent move and remember, on a $4 thing. That's a lot. All right. That's nearly 20%. So you start to go, okay, so what? And this was right as the market started opening. Look, on Monday. So you have this kind of vacuum of information here, and people get euphoric. But then when the week starts and there's no new information, no bad information, just no new information, it just goes the other direction, goes straight down. You say, why? People are skittish and panicky and fickle, waiting for it to go down. I mean, anything could do this or that. I like that I'm getting staking with SUI. I like that you can borrow against it on SUI Lend. SUI cool. And I like my loan to value is like under 40% or something like that. So I have a lot of space in there. And then if it made a big run, I'd probably take it back up to 50% or something like that. Just have a little bit of extra cash, to lay down in the options market. Yeah. Sadly, guess what? My simulator is not coming until the second week of August. It was supposed to have delivered yesterday, but they don't have the carbon fiber seat. No carbon fiber seat. No seat. I ain't got no seat. I can't sit. On it. I can't just put a chair there. Anyway, so I'm waiting. So we have a recession mindset that's kind of drifting through the market. We have a bunch of weak. It is what it is. They're very weak investors. They're very morally weak. No, that's not fair. Not morally weak. They are. Well, I don't know how you would say that. How would you say someone has a lack of fortitude, a lack of resilience to a vacuum of information? It's not like there's bad information. If you look at the news, there's really no news as far as crypto is concerned right now, other than the fact that Tether continues to print money out of thin air and somehow celebrate it. Yeah, it's kind of like they lack conviction, but I guess I'm looking for a word that means someone that had conviction and lost their faith. What do we call those in religious terms? What's someone that's lost their faith? The opposite of a zealot. What's the opposite of a zealot? That becomes some short-term, limbic region dominated, dopamine obsessed. It's recession depression mentality. Apostate. Oh, apostate, I guess. Apostate. That's a good word. That might be the word of the day. Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I think the why are people investing? This is a good question. Everybody that's here right now, why are you investing? I want you to answer two things. Everybody here, answer two things. One, why are you investing? And two, what is your time horizon? So I'm investing because XYZ. My time horizon is 18 months, 7 days, 36 minutes, 36 weeks. Rich. Yeah, the Cisco rich is different to everyone. Build wealth, yes. You know, they say health is wealth. You know what else is wealth? Wealth. Wealth is wealth. And then people say, you can't buy happiness. Yes, you can. You absolutely can buy happiness. People that say you can't, they haven't tried hard enough. You absolutely can. You can lease it, since we can't buy eternal life yet. You can lease it. Dilettante or dabbler. Maybe. I think apostate is pretty good until we get a better one. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Okay, let's see. Wealth, fair play. Make life better next 5 years. Good. See, Kurt, that's the right mindset. Don't set yourself up for heartache. Don't do it. Just make your life better. If all you do, if the only thing you ever learned out of all of this was some game theory, some cognitive bias, and the value of compounded interest, whether it's working with you in the form of investments or against you in the form of credit card debt. It's like, I'll give you an example right now. I'm looking at a car. I remember, if you guys remember, a while back, I was going to buy a Revuelto, the Lamborghini, the V12, the last V12, by the way, the last V12. Ain't no more. That shit's over with. They're all V8s now or V6s, and it's ridiculous. Anyway, whatever, with the hybrid. So I was going to get it. And then I decided at the last minute, I was like, no, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to leave. I'm just going to leave the money in, and then that money ended up getting pushed into options and has since made a lot more money than the money. And because I look, every $100 I think about, every $100 earns me $1 a week, right? So every $100 that I can park over in the performance side of my portfolio, and I'm not talking about my investments. I'm just saying that on the performance side in my options account, every $100 bill makes $4, from $4 to $8 per month. You start thinking that's a pretty good little $100 bill right there. That's an employee. So every $100 I have is an employee that charges me nothing except a little opportunity, a little maybe life opportunity cost. What do I mean by that? Okay, I didn't buy the thing or the whatever. You see my bracelet? No, I don't have it. So because I didn't buy it. Whatever. Anyway, so I look at all those $100 as little employees. And if these little employees can make anywhere from $4 to $8 per month, then by the end of the year, they have spawned another employee, likely at least half of an employee, but likely a full employee, right? From 52% of an employee to a full employee plus. And remember, it's compounded too. So then I think, okay, well, do I go get this car? Do I not? Do I go get the car? Do I not? Is the car going to make my life better? No. Well, will it be more fun? It'd be fun. It's a race car for sure. And it's a classy mofo. But then I go, well, how often can we rent it? On that car? Not that often. Why? Because most people won't qualify for it. So, okay, am I going to rent it out that much? No. Is it going to be expensive? Yes. I think the cheap ones are $700K. Cheap. So factor in taxes, you're at $800,000. The expensive ones start at $800K. So now you're basically at $1 million. Are we going to get that back in rentals? Probably not. So then I go, okay, would I be happier each month with this cool car? And again, no trinket that you get is going to be that interesting in 6 months. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. In 6 months, it's just a thing again. So in 6 months, I have the thing sitting in the garage or sitting up at the shop, randomly going out on rentals, but maybe not at all. Or the money that I would have used, because let's say I put $200K down on it, that's a lot of little $100 bills. So I was saying, okay, what about that $200K in the options market? What does that look like? Well, that's from $2,000 to $4,000 a week. So that same $200K represents anywhere from $8,000 to $16,000 a month. So would I rather have this trinket that I'm gonna be bored of in 6 months, or $16,000 a month extra? Yeah. And so that's how I do my math on those kind of things. And so I like an extra $16K a month more than driving the race car, which, by the way, once I get my simulator, I'll be able to drive it at home on the track and no one will know the difference. Well, I won't know the difference. Okay, Craig, more freedom, 2 to 3 years. Good. I like that. Freedom. Buy your freedom. $10,000 a month. If you can get $10K a month extra outside with all bills paid, you've reached the same freedom and happiness level as a billionaire. Now, you can't go buy islands and shit, and you can't go buy houses whenever you want. But if you have an extra $10,000 a month to spend, buddy, you're living that good life. Straight up. Invest, build wealth, live where I want, 2 to 5 years. Yep, I think that's smart. Generational wealth. Oh, Sherry, you're doing big shit. Hopefully within the next 5 years. Generational wealth in the next 5 years. Well, generational wealth, it depends on what you would consider generational wealth. I think, what would that even look like? I think that's generational. I think you got to be at 100 million, right? Like for generational wealth, because what's going to happen is, let's say you leave your kids 20 million. That shit is squandered. Before your body is cold, that money is gone. They will destroy it. They will, because they're not prepared to inherit it. So they will squander. Gone. So generational wealth, I think you have to have 100 million. You have to put it in all these trusts where it like protects people and makes them go to school, whatever school means, or at least have the best robots. Who in the F knows what the future looks like? Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm trying to build wealth so I can have access to the coolest robots, the coolest technology, and the coolest augmented humanry. The best human augmentation. That's what I'm after. Give me that augmentation, baby. Let's see. Build wealth, 18 to 24 months. Good. Investing for wealth and enjoyment. There you go. Throw some enjoyment in there. Andy might actually enjoy himself. I think he's one up to everybody here. Let's see. Replace consistent 9 to 5 income. That's a good goal. Get to the point where your income. So the rule of thumb that I used was, I still do consulting gigs. I thought about that yesterday. I got offered a consulting gig, and I thought about it. It sounded good, but it sounded good. The me of 5 years ago would have been like, yeah. But then the me of now is like, I don't know if I want to be under someone's thumb. And it would be a consulting gig where I would be under someone's thumb. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's good money. But it's not good enough to answer to anybody. I just don't like answering to anybody. Yeah. I've become a self-assist. Not a narcissist. I'm a self-assist. I don't think that's a thing. Could be a thing. I'm a self-assist. What was our cult that we came up with? Our church? Informationalism or some old weird shit we came up with. We came up with a religion. But I'm a self-assist. Let's see, investing for generational wealth, 2 years. Damn. All right, Stephanie. I noticed the women in here are swinging for the fences. Investing because I have a passion for technology. Good. Feel like crypto's future. Yes. Or definitely a big part of it. I'd like to go-to person for people I know that want to get involved. That's a good idea. Be the on-ramp for the people that you know. That's a good one. Have you considered the new Aston Martin Vanquish? No, it's a Ferrari. I mean, it's a Ferrari. It's a Mercedes. You know, Aston Martins own my Mercedes now. They're all Mercedes. In the same way that Lamborghinis are kind of just like high-end Audis. I will say this, though. That Revuelto, it is a spaceship, dude. It is a spaceship. I have to figure out, if I could do it as a lease for a lease with a very minimal amount of money down, because the lease is fully you can deduct the entire lease. That's the key. It's how much down. I don't want to take money out of my pocket to do it. If I could put a little bit of money down and have it, then it would be worth it for the curb appeal and for the for the write-off, because you can write off, if that's your main vehicle, you can write 100% of the lease off against your income. So even if I was paying $15K a month on it, it's 100% write-off, just directly against income. Let's see. Develop a knowledge base to create skill that will last a lifetime. Yes, that's true. Financial knowledge, understanding arbitrage, understanding game theory, understanding like basic human herd psychology and your own cognitive biases, which we're going to talk about some cognitive biases today when we start talking about that kind of thing. Oh, let me text Eric. Hey, can you move your car? I think they're delivering some materials and they need that space. Okay, boom. Boom. All right. Let's see. Okay, in the process, create wealth, ideally in the short term, 3 to 5 years in the long term, have the knowledge to trade. Yeah, that's good. Oh, trade on a sailboat. That'd be pretty nice. That would be pretty nice. Trading on a sailboat. Can you imagine? I mean, I would just, how reliable is that? I guess if you have really good, some kind of satellite internet, I guess you could do that. I don't know. I don't know about a house that like floats and rocks at night. I don't know if I'm there yet. I want to build more than what military disability and SSDI provide. Good. Yeah. Build yourself a future. So I was going to tell you, the rule of thumb is for being able to leave your job, when your investments are spitting off not just the investment growth, but when the investment is spitting off investment income, meaning dividends, residuals, something, staking rewards, and those equal 3 times your 9-to-5 job, go. Time to go. So if you make $100K a year, if your investments are generating an income of 300, remember, not the investment itself, because the investment itself might be relatively stagnant. You're waiting for it to grow and profile. You don't want to be taking money out of Bitcoin. But for instance, staking rewards, dividends, things like this, some DeFi shenanigans, yield farming, whatever. If your investment, the options premiums, if they are yielding 3 times your job, so you make 100K, 3 times that, you're 300K, you are duty bound to leave your job. You are now more valuable as a full-time fiduciary of your income rather than a slave to someone else. Because the harder you work for someone else, the more Ferraris you're going to buy them. The harder you work, the more Ferraris they get, the more Revueltos they get. Not you, them. That ain't no goal. Freedom by 2030. And you shall have it, Shantae. You shall have it. I have to teach you how. Yeah, that's true. I'd rather teach my kids and grandkids how to build wealth than to give it to them. Yeah. Yep. That's the way to do it. It's tricky, man. It's tricky to know what to do. Like, I don't have kids, so I don't know what that's like. The whole spoiling them versus not. Part of me would be like, well, if you spoil kids, they turn out like spoiled rich kids are terrible with money, and they're squanderers, and they usually have all sorts of addictions and crap like that. They're just not good humans. So yeah, I think you got to do like Warren Buffett thing where it's like, hey, I'm giving you guys a little bit of money, a little bit. I think he gave every kid $10 million, right? But said you have to go out on your own. But then when they had these noble ventures, he would, when they had these noble things, he supported them on them. That's kind of cool. Financial freedom by 2030. Yes. Money Map wants. Is there even? I don't think Money Map exists anymore. I think they gone. I think they out. Self-assist. No, but not self-assist. Self-assist. Like, let me see. Let me write it. I guess it's a self-assist. Narcissist. Is it? I just want to replace. I mean, I guess it is spelled like that, right? Self-assist. But it's not assist. Narcissist. Assist. It's a C. It's self assist. It'd be self-assist like this. Self-assist. Self-assist. I'm a self-assist. Yeah, it's like a thing. You guys can be self-assist too. Who wants to be a self-assist? You're honorary members of our new religion. Which is we will call hold on, this is a good one. Self-assism. This might already exist. There might already be self-assism. I bet you that's a real word. We might have just made up a word that already exists, but this is the new version of it. We can do that because religion ain't no rules. What is it? 501(c)(3). You guys know that's the whole Scientology scam, right? You know this, right? It was a scam. It was never meant to be a religion. What is it? Elron, he was a science fiction writer, and he wrote a bunch of stuff, and he was getting destroyed on taxes, and they were trying to find a way to dodge taxes. So that's what that is. That's why Scientology became a religion, so that they could dodge taxes. It was never meant to become what it has become. He would probably roll over in his grave if he saw how disgusting all this stuff has become. It was like a joke, and you can't tell religious people that their religion is a joke. They don't want to hear that. I mean, okay, look, all religions to an extent are a bunch of stories and fairy and tales and fables and all this that ideally make your life better. But in Scientology's specific case, if you look on the back of their Bible, it says this is a work of fiction. On the jacket, on the book. Like, come on, people. God damn. Don't be this stupid. Actually, be this stupid, but make sure you're in the investment markets, because I want you to be the other end of my arbitrage. Okay. Enough waxing. We need to get to it. We need to talk about some stuff. All religion is man-centered. Yeah. You know, I got an online degree. I have a PhD in the philosophy of religion. I can put it on my driver's license. Really? Do you remember that, John? Do you remember that whole thing from the Universal Life Church? If you buy one of the more expensive ones, $250 or something, and you take their little course and you answer their questions and send in like an essay, you get a PhD. There's a bunch of them. Some of them sound cheesy, but a PhD in the philosophy of religion sounded realistic enough. I did it. Oh yeah, I did it. I'm a doctor. I am a doctor. And I am a selfist. That's probably how I'm going to start my TED Talk. Hello, my name is Nick. I am a doctor and I am a selfist. That doesn't mean selfish, but it doesn't mean I'm not. Now, Everyone eat a boiled egg. And I just hand out eggs. And they're like, this guy gives the best TED Talks, and I love his boiled eggs. That's right. Dr. Nicholas Black, self-assist. Join me, my brothers. And everybody is a deacon. In selfism, hey, Eric, you want to join my religion? We're selfists. Yeah. Well, selfism. Welcome. That's Deacon Eric. Everybody's a deacon. That's Deacon Eric. Everybody's a deacon. No, there's no rank here. You join the church of selfism. You join the church of selfism. You become a selfist. You also are a deacon, an immediate deacon. And you can be a deacon, and you can be a deacon. Okay, enough nonsense. Or is it? Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the recession mindset, because she is deep within. And I think we need to focus on it a little bit. So let me cue up my stuff. Time to get serious. We're getting serious now.
You're bad at math, but I'm giving you an A+ in confidence.
Just doing what I gotta do.
Extra credit.
Hello. You're late.
God, that's the best. That's the funniest one. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being in that class? Can you imagine? Okay. Let me get some. Hold on. Let's go Miami. Yeah. Nice comfortable little background here. Okay. So we are going to talk about avoiding the recession mindset, which apparently is running pretty deep. Okay, so let me cue up my notes here. All right. We're going to talk about something that quietly erodes more wealth through bad decisions. It erodes more than bad stocks, bad markets, bad gurus, and bad timing. And that is a bad mindset. Specifically, this is what we were talking about earlier, is the recession mindset. The psychological trap that convinces otherwise smart investors to do dumb things at exactly the wrong time for very flawed reasons. So this isn't about market forecasting or GDP predictions or any of this stuff. This is about you, the investor, and the mental models that you carry into uncertain markets, because in the long run, it's not the downturns that kill your performance. It's how you are reacting to those downturns, right? So first, let me get this. This music seems a bit upbeat. Let me see. It's too. Let me see. Yeah, maybe that's better. Okay, yeah. It seemed a little too glib. Anyway, so what is the recession mindset? Let us define it. A recession mindset is a defensive mental posture built on fear, pessimism, recent trauma from market volatility, or a recent loss. I mean, obviously, loss aversion is a pretty big part of it. And those of you that experienced, these kind of tumultuous markets, and maybe you've made some bad decisions, you've had some of that. And so it shows up in your investment in the form of panic selling at the bottom, hoarding cash unnecessarily. Because remember, cash is trash. Cash not deployed is worthless. Matter of fact, it's worth less each day. So it's no bueno. Anyway, hesitating to reinvest when valuations look attractive, watching headlines, reaction chasing headlines instead of your long-term thesis. And none of that behavior is rational. It's human. It is all human. But it's expensive behavior. Let's look at it that way. This is all very expensive behavior. Hoarding, panic selling, hesitating headline chasing. It is all expensive, rational, but not right-minded. So in game theories, we like to always reduce to game theory, right? If everyone adopts a recession mindset, then we reach a Nash equilibrium where fear is the dominant strategy. Everybody loses relative to the optimal outcome, right? Because everybody's agreed that fear is the dominant strategy. And you're really seeing this a lot in the crypto markets, but there are three main psychological headwinds that, as long as they're floating around in the back of your mind, if you're aware of them, then you can kind of wrest control from these biases as they start to affect you. So these are the three that I think fuel this fear recession mindset. And it is loss aversion, it is availability bias, and it is myopic loss aversion. Okay, so studies show that we feel the pain of loss twice as strongly as the pleasure of a gain, right? That's why a 10% drop feels like a catastrophe, and a 10% rise feels like, oh, that's supposed to happen, right? So the result of this is that investors tend to sell early and cling to their losses longer, right? And they're like, oh no, I don't want to sell, I've lost, I can't possibly part ways with this loser. No. So fear is what's driving their action, not strategy. So they've left game theory and they've taken on this fear mentality, this loss aversion mentality, because the pain of a loss is twice that as the gain, the pleasure of a gain, right? The pain, is the pain worth the gain? No. Apparently the pain is twice as bad. So pain or loss is a -2. Winning or gaining is a +1. So you have to win twice to absorb one loss. That's just a break even. Anyway, the second one is availability bias. Our brains overemphasize recent emotionally charged events like the 2020 crash, 2008 crisis, the monetary debacle, the 2022, 2023 as FTX was imploding, Luna imploding, Voyager, BlockFi, the whole of Celsius, all just crumbling, right? And so those moments, maybe, and even in recent moments, like after the election, we had this great November, December, and then the market s the bed. January, February, kind of quiet. Then we had an up March, down. So people have become traumatized. I guess they've become traumatized, and they're ranking those events. They're scoring them higher than they should. So even when markets are improving and regulation is improving and liquidity is improving, the retail investor is still anchored to trauma, panicky, pillow-handed, trauma, reactionary trauma. So we fear the next shoe dropping instead of preparing for the next opportunity. So instead of saying, oh, Ethereum looks primed to go to, 5 to 8,000, we say, oh man, Ethereum's down $40 today. Okay. So we ignore markets that are improving. And then the third one is the myopic loss aversion, which is kind of a pivot from the regular loss aversion. When we check our portfolios every day, and we all do it, every one of us here does it probably multiple times a day. Matter of fact, in the chat, tell me in the chat, how many times a day do you check your portfolio? I bet it's more than one. And yes, you can say, well, we're options trading and all this kind of stuff. True, but it's a Tuesday. We ain't doing nothing till Thursday. So anyway, so let's be honest. Most of us do check our portfolios on a regular basis. We zoom in too close. We make estimations based on very short-term noise for very long-term trends. So we're taking a very tiny amount of information, myopic, one might say, in our view, and we are extrapolating things that should only be long-term based, right? We're extrapolating things about long-term trends that we can't possibly from this tiny, tiny amount of information, right? This tiny data set. And this converts what would have been investing into gambling. Yes, you're now chasing that dopamine again. So if you zoom out, look at 5, 10, 20-year periods, hell, in crypto, 6 months, a year and a half, the volatility then starts to look like an opportunity, not peril and panic and chaos. So if you look at the cost of sitting it out, so we joke around about all the people that were in XRP in 2017, and they basically missed out on like 3 big bull runs, giant ones. They just sat on the sidelines. They have made, over the last 7 or 8 years, they have made nothing. They have not made a fucking dime. 8 years in crypto and you haven't made $1? You are fucking retarded. Period. No excuse, no nothing. You're a retard. And I don't mean like the PC version of retard. I mean window licking fucking retard. Because that means you are oblivious to everything else in the world, and you've been consumed by the cult, by the religion, the standard. So damn, man. But think about this. Think about just in S&P terms. If you were fully invested in the S&P, let's go super basic. S&P for the last 20 years, you've averaged close to 8% per year. If you missed the 10 best days in that 20-year span, listen, 10 days in a 2-decade, in 20 years, if you missed 10 days, your return drops by half. Half. And when do those best days occur? Within weeks, sometimes days of the very worst days. So the panic mindset, the fear mindset, the recession mentality will make you miss the kind of moments that will move you from sideline investing to professional investing to rich to wealthy. If you missed, think about that. In the S&P 500 for 20 years, there was 10 super days. And if you miss them, your returns are chopped in half. You went from 8% a year to 4%. Bro. Oh. So, and in the crypto space, it's much more dramatic. So in trying to avoid pain, most investors are guaranteeing very mediocre, very mild, not even inflation beating gains. If you only did 4% a year, you're not really beating debasement effects. I'm careful to say debasement effects as opposed to just like inflation, always and everywhere pervasive, because we are seeing debasement effects all the time as they keep printing money. Those debasement effects don't immediately get absorbed into prices. It's not a perfect pricing mechanism, right? There's lumps of cash that go out there and they slowly matriculate into markets, and then markets eventually, the prices of non-infinite items and resources tend to go up, right? There's more currency units flowing, therefore the same amount of goods and services, those goods and services tend to melt up in price, right? But just debasement effects alone is a big part of that. And if you're doing 4% a year, you're not beating debasement. You're just not. You ain't. It is what it is. You ain't. So you're going backwards. And that's if you missed 10 days because you panicked. In 20-year period, you missed 10 days. That means you don't get to have, that's 2 days a year, bro. And in the crypto space, there's only 10 or 15 days a year that create all of the gains. And again, they're usually on the tail end of all of the worst days. So here's some mental reframe. If you treat recessionary environments not as red flags, but as clearance sales. So the way I do it is I see an asset and I say, I think this should be this price. So until it gets to this price, I'm buying at a discount. Doesn't mean I'm right. That's the mental framework I need for it. So you don't treat these recessions and these downturns as red flags. They are sales. You're getting a sale. You just got invited to a sale at a place where you like to go shop. And that's what they are. They are rare periods where great investment opportunities trade at a discount. Your assumed discount to what the price should be, right? That's where you do your value proposition. So if you believe in the long-term kind of value creation thesis, then this is where the cash is. This is where the correct use of the word alpha lives. Remember, alpha is not information. Alpha is profit. So when you people's like, oh man, they're passing off some good alpha. No, dummy, that's not what the fucking word means. You don't just get to just change unless you're a selfist. If you're a deacon selfist, you can change words all you want, because that's one of the things we do at our religion. You're welcome. You're welcome, deacons. Anyway, Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. He also said, like, you don't know who's swimming naked until the tide rolls out, which is kind of creepy, but it also makes sense. A recession is where everyone is afraid, and that's your signal. So we're seeing retail investors with very panicky war, depression, recession-minded technique, right? Take my $3 and hold it. The market goes up 436%. Oh shit! And then they take $3 more. And then they take $3 more. Like, are you kidding? You're never gonna get escape velocity taking $3 off the table. So it is what it is. So when a lot of people when you're seeing this kind of panicky behavior, don't buy into it. And also understand it for what it is. It is low investor IQ panic behavior. And it should be a sign to you that there's opportunity. So how do you avoid falling into this trap? How do you build like a mental armor, so to speak? A couple of tactics. One, automate decisions where you possibly can. So use dollar cost averaging always to remove emotion from timing your investments. I hear a lot of people are like, hey, when do you think this will get to here? No one knows. No one. So don't invest that way. Dollar cost average. That's how you invest. You don't wait for the dip. You don't know when the dip is. You don't know when you're in the dip. You don't know if you're in the bottom or the top of the dip. You don't know anything until it's gone by and you missed it. Dollar cost average. Check your portfolio less frequently. Listen, if you guys are long-term investors, now if you're in the options market, you're going to be checking it a couple times a day because you're an active investor. But as far as your portfolio, once a day, I know that's crazy. Once a day is fine. Once a week is probably fine. I know none of you will do that. We wake up and it's right to live coin watch. Me too. But you better keep your head on straight if you're going to be looking at your portfolio more than once a day. Okay. And probably, again, for most of you long-term thinkers, once a week is fine. Focus on news and just absorbing news and educating yourself with financial tools and things like that, rather than looking at number. Looking at number don't do no good, right? Use a rules-based allocation strategy. So know in advance what you'll do during periods of volatility. Don't improvise during the volatility. That's how you screw yourself. Don't come up with the plan while you're getting shot at. The plan is what you come up with before you get shot at, so that once you get shot at, you have a plan. You won't come up with it on the fly. It will be panicked and stressed and poor-minded. And then stick to your narrative. If you bought XYZ asset on a 5-year outlook, don't sell it based on a 5-day outlook, right? Your investment timeline, that is important, right? So unless the information materially changes, stick with your original investing thesis. In other words, build an investing system that is consistent, that you continue with. So guess the way to think of it is, well, one, education and investment IQ is always going to put you ahead of everyone else. Being aware that we are emotional creatures and that most of you are not, I don't say this in a bad way, but most of you are not Brandon and I insofar as a surgeon is not like a first-year medical student. A surgeon that's been inside bodies for 12 years and it's just no big deal, right? Oh, there's a heart. There's a spleen. I don't even know where the spleen is. There is one. Let's play with it. Yay, spleen or whatever. Like, that's how casual you have to be and how relaxed you have to be inside the open chest cavity, right? You have to be like a lazy-eyed Vietnam sniper. Just like, oh, that's number 64 of the day. Oh, there's number 65. You know, like, you don't want to be this way in life, but you have to compartmentalize your investment emotions. And we see it a lot. You guys see it in the chat, right? You see people, freaking out and all this kind of stuff in the chat all the time. And I can tell you that those people will never get wealthy. They won't. They could get rich. You're not going to get wealthy as an investor. You may create some cure for cancer or some great new idea and get paid a fortune for it. You're not going to earn as an investor your way to wealth if you're a panicky, emotional investor. You won't. You will not. You know what you'll be great at? You'll be great at potluck and civil service and doing kind things for people, and you'll be probably admired in your church group and all this kind of stuff as an emotional creature. But if that emotion is in your investment mindset, you will lose. You will lose. They don't work together. You have to have the calm, cool, casual disposition of a lazy-eyed sniper. I do not care. I do not care. You can't allow yourself to care about things of which you have no control. It's like getting angry at sunsets. How dare you? It's going to happen tomorrow, Bob. God damn. Like, you cannot get angry at sunsets. You cannot get angry. You cannot get emotional. In the same way, you can't get happy. You cannot experience an emotional up or down either way from things which you have no control over. You should say, I'm looking at this giant space of all these people making decisions, and I just want to front run the dumbest of those people. And that's like 90%. If I can front run the herd, the beauty pageant, then I will have more currency units than I started with. And if I get to a certain point, then my lifestyle only consumes a tiny, tiny fraction of those currency units, and I get to win. So the way you get there is you must play your own game, right? Every investor here, every one of us here is playing their own game, right? Their own version of game theory, right? Hopefully it's based on, algebra and calculus, like my game theory is. But maybe you got your own game theory that's not so much math-based. The market is noisy, okay? You're all playing your own game theoretical investment strategy. The market is noisy. News cycles, social media, fucking gurus, macro headlines, all this kind of stuff. Most of it is them trying to pull you into their game. Okay? To pull you into their meticulously, mechanically designed game, right? The recession mindset is seductive for all of the news media, right? And for a lot of people, what does it do? It gets people to panic into following what you have to say. It disguises itself as caution and rational aversion, but in reality, it is fear with a haircut, right? It is fear with a haircut, nothing more, not even a good haircut, okay? And, bad sells in the same way that, like, loss aversion. Bad news sells. Bad news is scary. It's easy to sell. If you're news media, it's easy to sell that on people. You can't succumb to that. Your job as an investor isn't to predict downturns. It is just to survive and capitalize on them. Stay true to your strategy, even when the dummies in the crowd are panicking. Every time you see someone, an idiot, and this is a new thing I do in traffic. When I see some jackass cut me off or whatever, I'm like, oh yeah. I see someone texting, I'm like, hell yeah. I see someone being stupid, I'm like, yes. Because stupid people are why we are rich. It is what it is. They have other shit to do. We are taking our other shit time and doing this. We are focused on game theory and finance and financial tools and ways to express our ideas about macro markets in small, manageable, investable ways before the crowd figures it out. Right? This is a picks and shovels, consistent show up first type of a game. In the long run, wealth is not built in the good times, right? Wealth is built by having the courage to do things when others are losing their shit. So the more panic you see around the better. The better. The more, the less merrier, the more merrier, the more, you get it? So when you see this kind of mindset, think to yourself, this is a good thing. These are markets you can make money in. And here's where you catch up. You don't catch up by being late to the party. You catch up by recognizing when everybody at the party is panicking. That's where you catch up. That's where you can make up ground that you thought you lost because you weren't early. It doesn't matter if you're early. If you play these kind of recession, and we're going to be in this recession mindset for a minute. Why? Because we're in a global recession. Though we're going to have this for a while. So, yeah, be looking for the dips. Be looking. And yeah, keep things to yourself. Don't share with the family, because all they'll do is, if you get it right, they'll say you got lucky, and if you get it wrong, they'll say we told you. We brave, live on the sidelines, crowd. We told you. We have nothing in it, but we told you. And then when you win, they're like, God, you got so lucky. I just go with it. I'm like, yeah, God, I got lucky. At a certain point, you've been lucky so many times that people start to go, wait a minute. Were you really lucky? Were you? Anyway, let's call it a day. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk, struggling on meth grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do. We will see you tomorrow for more fun and shenanigans.
Killing time, no place to go. Everybody's feeling low. All alone in the street like glow. You fall into your head. It's all that you want. It's all that you need. Take some time to make believe. It's all that you want. It's all that you need. Just some time to make believe. It's all that you want. Time, no place to go. Everybody's feeling low. All alone in the street like